Oh, hey guys. Welcome to Inside Music. I'm your host, Richard Allen Smith, and we're going to talk to some of the most accomplished people in the music industry today. Come on in, I'll show you. Our first guest today is a Grammy-winning producer, engineer, and mixer who bases himself right out here in Atlanta, Georgia. His credits include Elton John, Outkast, Lady Gaga, Jewel, Rod Stewart, Joss Stone, Santana, Alice in Chains, B.B. King, T.I., Nelly, Third Day, Bruce Hornsby, Ann Wilson. It goes on and on. I don't even have time to read all of his credits. He is a three-time Grammy nominee and won the Album of the Year for his work with Outkast on Speakerboxxx The Love Below. I'm referring, of course, to the young man sitting to my left, Matt Still. Matt, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, Matt, I think those of us who've been in the game for a while and in the business, we've seen it change dramatically. Under the old business model, major labels pretty much had a monopoly. They had a monopoly on distribution. They had a monopoly on the talent being signed and really getting it out there into the pipeline. The labels would feed that pipeline to producers such as yourself. They would bankroll and set the budgets and determine the marketing and so forth and so on. That's all changed. In this new music paradigm, which is a big theme of our show, they don't seem as relevant anymore. Everybody's got a direct digital distribution to their audiences. The big recording budgets really aren't there in the way they were in the days of old. The big production fees, producers' fees aren't there, I would imagine, in the way they used to be. How do you find new talent? In other words, or do they find you? I mean, how do they end up at Matt Still's doorstep?
Well, it's a mix of both that, sometimes I find them and sometimes they find me. I do have my website that people can reach out to me through, but I also do things like look on YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, try to find new music that's out there. I listen to a lot of college radio to see what the younger kids are listening to. And through the years, I've made a lot of connections with different artists and different managers and people who were in A&R positions before may now have a management company. And they've known me for years, and they may have a young artist that they're trying to get produced that they want me to come in on the project. So they'll give me a call and ask me what do I think, and feel like if my style of production would fit that artist.
Yeah, interesting. One of your discoveries is a new up and coming artist, and her name is Riley. She's now handled with Elton John's worldwide management company, which I think is Rocket Music.
Yes.
And Riley's going to perform for us later in the show today, but she also has a deal with Sony ATV Publishing, and all this before her 18th birthday, which is pretty amazing. That's quite an accomplishment for somebody that young. Launching a new artist today in their career and building it from the ground up is something that a lot of labels, the ones that are even left, or management companies for that matter, they really don't want to start at ground zero. They want the artist to have some sort of accomplishment or fan base, or to have been established to some degree before taking them on. What drew you to producing Riley? What did you see in Riley that you thought you'd be a good match for, and that you thought this would be a good project to take on?
Well, the way I found Riley was through a video that was posted online. There's a guy in town who does a lot of open mics, and he posts videos of all the various people who perform at his open mic. And there was one of Riley, and I saw it, and this was when she was 14, I believe the video was taken, and she performed her own original song that she wrote. She wasn't doing a cover, and she had an amazing voice. It was a great song, and she could play her own instrument. So it was kind of an easy choice for me to reach out to her. So I reached out to her and her father through Facebook, introduced myself, and said, listen, this is who I am. I'd love to come see you. And went out to see her at a live show, and then we brought her into my studio to do some demos. And once we finished that, I put it in front of Elton, and he fell in love with her instantly too. Okay. So I think everyone who sees her falls in love with her instantly. Yeah. Because she's just got so much talent. And it's amazing the songs that a girl of this age can write, and now she's grown even more over the past 4 years that I've known her.
Yeah.
So it's really been an amazing journey watching her get to this point.
That's terrific. So we've got the new frontier. Everyone's got access to the technology. Everybody can make a record at home, which seems like a double-edged sword.
It is.
There's a lot of great music out there. There's a lot of people connecting directly to an audience, bypassing the old business model of the big record label distribution. But there's a lot of, in that context, there's also a lot of mediocrity out there because everybody can make a record. The record companies, to some extent, for better or for worse, acted as a filter almost. They had a monopoly, but it was also a filter on what could get through. For independent artists who are making good music, not some of the mediocrity that's out there, but are making good music, who don't find their way to Matt Still's doorstep, but have sort of taken on the role of the record company by trying to both fund and produce their own independent projects. What advice would you share that you think could give them a better shot at success at getting their independent record project out there at large?
Yeah. The biggest thing, I think, is trying to promote your name. This is a music business. It's not just music, it's a business also. And if you don't promote yourself, if you don't get your name out there, then people aren't going to know who you are.
Yeah.
And things like Facebook, MySpace, YouTube are fantastic tools. You know, I found Riley through YouTube. That's, you know, so there's a story right there of and Justin Bieber was found through YouTube. Whether you like his music or not, that's how he was found, and he became a huge success.
Yeah.
So the bands that I see the greatest success from are the bands who kind of take their own promotion into their hands. Word of mouth. Play as many gigs as you can. Get in front of as many people as you can. Always promote, and it's a daily thing. Some bands that I've mentioned this to, they'll start their Facebook page and then they just leave it alone. And I'm like, you got to work on that. It's a daily thing.
Right.
Post stuff every week.
Yeah.
You know, put up new material for people to see. Put up new songs. I don't care about the quality.
Right.
Because you have everything from great recordings to just, you know, a guitar in front of a camera. So put it out there.
Yeah.
Promote yourself.
But you feel like artists really need to work on refining the business skills, because a lot of artists have the artistic left brain thing going on, but when it comes to the business end of things, sometimes can fall short. So you would highly recommend that they work on their business acumen.
Yes, especially promotion, because you know, although record labels are, the industry is changing, they are still an important aspect of the industry. And I think that in order for you to gain the attention of a label, they do look at things like how many followers do you have on Facebook, how many hits do you have on YouTube.
Right.
Labels have asked that question in meetings.
SoundScan.
Yeah.
If you're selling product
if you're selling,
at
they
retail
want SoundScan,
level.
but even for a band that doesn't have anything in retail that is selling, you know, they want to know how many hits do you have on YouTube?
Right.
How many people are following you?
Yeah.
What are the Google Analytics, you know, for your website? What areas of the country are hitting your
They want to know that
website
you've
most?
established somewhat of a base, that you're not coming to them.
Well, those
ground
are tangible numbers that you can take to them and say, look, you know, we've had this many hits, and we seem to be popular in these regions, and they take notice of that stuff.
Yeah. So Matt, you touched on a real interesting topic just a minute ago, and I want to pursue that a little further, which is social media, because there's a lot of new artists that feel like, particularly newer generation, they feel like social media is the be-all, end-all, that just through social media they can have a career or establish a fan base. And you did say that, you know, Riley came to your awareness through YouTube, and of course we know the famous Justin Bieber YouTube story. But from my perspective, it seems like a lot of aspiring musicians maybe grossly overinflate the importance of social media. I mean, it is a conversation tool, but it's not a shortcut. It's not a shortcut to avoid doing the basic groundwork of marketing, or it doesn't replace publicity, it doesn't replace radio promotion, or really, the most important thing, old school, getting on the road and touring and establishing that fan base in each of these towns. So what's your take on social media's role? Obviously, it's of paramount importance, but
it's a part of the total picture. It's a starting point for artists. It's the easiest way for them to reach out to people and find fans for no cost. It costs nothing to put up a Facebook page. It costs nothing to start up a YouTube page. So it's the best place and the easiest place to start. As technology has progressed from the technical side and recording, with things like Pro Tools, moving from tape, to things with the internet where you can have outreach to millions of people, it has made it easier to make a great recording, and it has made it easier to reach out to people. Now, this is always a good start. And technology, as it advances, like you mentioned earlier, has a double-edged sword. There's more content now because it's easier for people to make recordings. People who didn't have access to million-dollar studios before now can have a home recording studio and make an album that sounds just as good, if they know what they're doing, just as good as a studio record. And now with things like Facebook and YouTube, bands can reach out and find people, whereas, 15, 20 years ago, you could not reach out to those people. There's so many social networking sites out there, but the ones that I mainly check, like if I want to listen to someone, it will be like a YouTube, Bandcamp, SoundCloud. Those are the ones where I actually go and listen to new bands.
Interesting.
But with the new technology, it will allow you to reach more people, but that also means that as a fan, you have more noise to wade through.
Right.
You do have great artists that you might have otherwise never seen, but then you've got to filter through all these other artists who are not really that talented.
Right.
And there's no one way to make it in this industry.
Yeah.
There's no tried and true blueprint anymore.
Right.
People ask me as a producer and engineer, they ask me, well, how did you get to where you went? And I said, well, I can tell you exactly everything that I did, and if you go and try to do that, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
It worked for me. Everybody's got to find their own path.
Right.
So you need to reach out to every avenue that's available to you.
Yeah.
You've got to have a Facebook page. You've got to have a MySpace page. You've got to have a YouTube page. You need to tour. You need to go play live. You need to hone your craft.
Yeah.
You need to get better at your stage performance.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other segment. Okay, so then the next thing is going to be, well, how do we tour? We've got product. Now, because every band thinks, well, I've got a record now. Why don't you book me? Because it's completely saturated out there, and club owners and venues want to know the same thing. Can you fill seats? Because they need to generate revenue. If you don't have enough of a following to fill seats, then what's the incentive for them to book your band?
It's a long process.
Yeah.
Nothing worthwhile is easy and quick.
Yeah.
So you've got to start small. You've got to start locally.
Yeah.
Play any gig you can get.
I think that's an excellent point.
Open up for whatever band you can open up for.
Right.
Open up for them.
Yeah.
Just get your name out
Yeah,
there.
excellent point. So social media plays a major role in today's new music paradigm, but it is not the be-all, end-all.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. However, Riley, the artist you discovered on YouTube, have her perform for us today.
It'd be fantastic.
Is she ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You caught my eye when you smile, baby. I don't know why. Oh, I wasn't looking for anyone. That's when you walked by. And I'm not usually easily pleased. still see you now, and it's burning out. And if I open my eyes, would you still be standing here? Yeah, would you still be standing here? Oh, can't you feel the lightning? Oh, 'cause I can feel your kiss. Oh, nothing's gonna stop me, 'cause tonight you and I. Can't you feel the lightning? I can feel your kiss. Nothing's gonna stop me, 'cause tonight you and I, we're gonna dance into the daylight.
Riley, really enjoyed your performance. That was really
Thanks.
terrific. You know what I noticed as a musician is, and this might have been something that attracted you to Riley, I don't know, but your pitch is really like spot on.
Thank you.
And we're in an age, where slice, dice, compress, a lot of artists
Yeah.
rely on the technology in the studio and live to get them into pitch. But you sounded great.
Thank you.
The question I think a lot of aspiring artists want to know is, how did you break through? How did you connect to Matt? We talked a little bit
Yeah.
about that earlier, but they want to know. Everybody wants to know, what's the secret? What's the trick?
Yeah, I would say I was kind of trying to figure it out. I just started doing open mics and going out and performing my stuff, and I guess eventually started putting stuff on YouTube, which is how Matt found me in the first place.
Yeah,
so I
yeah, we
guess
talked about that.
YouTube is like a huge thing. So as
Right.
long as you get yourself out there.
Okay. So Matt, how did you stumble? Did you stumble? I mean, or did somebody say, "Hey, check this out. This is like
Well,
this is real
actually,
talented."
my wife found it first. She had gone to one of the open mics and
Yeah.
knew that this guy put up videos of the performances, and she saw Riley first because she was looking for her friend.
Right.
She saw Riley and said, "I think you should check this girl out."
Yeah.
And so I saw the video and I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
And then what was the process after you like, wow, she's really talented? Then did you reach out to her? Did you?
I
how
reached
did-
out to
how did
her
it
and her
happen?
father through Facebook. I found her name and I just started, Googling and going on Facebook and trying to figure out where I could find her.
Yeah.
And I friended her and Frank on
Yeah.
Facebook and said, "This is who I am and love to come and see you." And after I saw her, we decided to go into the studio to cut a demo. As the demos kind of moved on,
Yeah.
with each day I kind of got more excited about it. And I knew the fact
Yeah.
that because I kept getting more and more excited, I knew there was something there.
Right. So at what point did you say, okay, I'm going to take this, because you have a relationship with Elton, because you've done a lot of work with him. You said, I'm going to take this to Elton. 2 or 3 songs, 4 songs? How many songs you put together to take
We had
to him?
3 songs.
And how did that happen?
We had 3 songs, and
Did you call him up and say, hey, Elton, it's Matt?
Yeah, well, I knew he was going to be in town. We were going to have lunch one day, and
Yeah.
so I kind of had a date
Yeah.
on the calendar marked that, okay, I know this is coming up.
Yeah.
And, we did 3 songs, and I had Riley go do a photo shoot so we could have some professional photos done, and
Yeah.
I put together a CD for him with some photos and kind of some liner notes and all that kind of stuff myself, and went and had lunch with him, and I played him the CD, and he fell in love with it immediately.
Yeah.
At the end of the first song, he went back and listened to it again.
Okay.
And then he listened to it again. And
Was
I knew-
that, did that seal the deal right then and there, or did it
Oh
happen?
yeah, that was he in his mind that
Yeah.
had sealed the deal right there, and
Okay.
he was so enthusiastic about it. He asked me to get Riley on the phone
Yeah.
so he could talk to her, and this was the middle of the school day, and so I texted her. I said, "Call me as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Someone needs to talk to you."
Yeah.
She goes, I'm at lunch, so call me. And I call her and said, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you," and I handed out on the phone. And
Well, that's,
so-
My friends were like, "Who are you talking to?"
Oh, it's just Elton John. I'll be with you in a second.
They're like, "No, it's not. Why are you like?"
right. Why are you fronting?
yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, and then what happened from that point in terms of the deal with Sony ATV? Because there's a lot of writers out there, a lot of people that want to do what Riley's doing. And so, at what point did the Sony ATV deal come into place?
That was a recent development.
That was really recent.
And
Okay.
Riley has been doing a lot of songwriting. She's put
Yeah.
in an incredible amount of work to get where she has
Yeah.
today. Her song catalog is huge now. I think it's over 200 songs now.
Yeah, about.
Yeah,
And
so-
Riley, you're leaving us today to go out to LA
Sunday,
to do some
yeah,
writing.
for
and
like
then you're going
3
to New York
weeks.
to write? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so she's really putting in a lot of hard work
Yeah.
and it's going to pay off. It's
Yeah.
going to pay off.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for you, and then we're going to wrap up the segment. Artistic credibility or commercial success, which is more important to you as an artist?
I would say artistic credibility, but I think that they kind of go together, because if you are not true to yourself and doing what you want to do, you're not going to get the success that you want. People are going to see through it. So, I kind of started out in like a Taylor Swift kind of feel, and I was, we did that for about a year, and that's kind of where my manager was pushing me, because it was just like the go-to like girl pop country crossover, and I wanted to be more pop, so I was like, we have to change or it's not going to work.
Because what happens in our business is people jump on the bandwagon of whatever's trending or successful at that
and
time.
Taylor
So if there's
Swift
a
is like iconic, so
Yeah. So your advice is to stay true to yourself and have your own voice.
yeah, definitely do what you want to do, not what somebody else tells you.
There you go. There you have it. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank
Continued
you.
success to you, and we'll be watching it.
Thank you.
My next guest is the owner of Tree Sound Studios. The list of clients who have recorded there starts with Aerosmith, it ends with Usher. In between are literally hundreds of rock, rap, folk, and R&B acts who've sought out this Atlanta facility's blend of state-of-the-art recording technology and environmentally conscious outlook. In addition to his studio complex, he oversees Tree Power Sound, a solar-powered concert production company, and even the organically inclined Rockstar Farms. I'm describing the young man to my left, Paul Diaz. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start out with a question, because we know that the industry has changed. That's the whole focal point of our show. Within that context, what has changed in your area of the business as the recording budgets have gotten smaller? The CD sales are less than they were. The old record labels are tightening their budgets. And how has that affected you, or has it? How have you weathered that storm dealing with smaller budgets?
I think the easiest answer to that is to diversify, really. What we've done is we've moved from just being a recording studio to we have a hip-hop blog called Three Little Digs. We've got a film company that shoots videos for artists and does stuff for the blog. We've got Tree Leaf Music, which is our indie label / publishing. And I think a big part of it has been discovering younger artists, discovering new bands, bringing them in at independent artist rates, basically, to be able to fill time that otherwise would be empty.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Tree Leaf Music, because you just pointed out that you had the label. Who are some of the artists on the Tree Leaf Music label, and what's your do you focus on anything genre specific?
No.
And beyond recording those artists, what strategies are you employing to get them out there into the marketplace?
It's a pretty, it's not genre specific. We're doing some hip hop, we're doing some folk music, we're doing some bluegrass, we're doing some blues, we're doing singer-songwriters. So it's kind of, I think the focus of the label is songs.
Right, just good
We're
music.
really looking for writing, we're looking for great songs,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't really matter to me what genre it is.
Okay.
As long as the song is there.
Yeah.
And the writing is there, right?
Well, if there, do you have a finite limit of acts that you're taking on that you feel like, okay, this is enough in our stable and we want to focus on these, or are you still looking for?
Yeah, we're still looking. We're always looking. We're not in a hurry, because we do have our hands full. We're working with Michael Tolcher right now, who's been around for a while. We're working with Lefty Williams, who's a blues artist.
Yeah.
Avenue of the Giants, it's a rock band. Candy Blackguard is a young hip-hop artist, young rapper. We also have some producers in our stable, some writers and producers, and we've just placed 2 songs on the upcoming Chris Brown record. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but it should be
Fantastic.
out this month.
Well, if there are some artists out there who want to submit their materials, that's still cool to do? I mean, can they get to Paul Diaz?
Yeah, I mean, if you Google me, I think my cell phone number is online, so pretty easy to find. My email address is on the website for treesoundstudios.com.
Okay.
So I'm pretty easy to find. Typically, YouTube, Facebook, all the social media networks, we're always looking, of course, to see what's new and what's hot.
Will you review that material yourself, or do you have folks that are kind of screening it?
Depends on the genre.
Okay.
If it's rap and hip hop, my opinion's not really relevant, because I'm not really big into that scene. So I have partners who are producers in rap and hip hop. If it's singer-songwriter, folk, Americana type stuff, rock, then it's usually me.
Yeah, that's closer to your
Yeah,
personal
yeah,
interest.
yeah.
You started out as an engineer, obviously, before becoming a studio owner. So for aspiring engineers who are watching the show today who might be interested in becoming an intern and getting that hands-on experience at a larger, more professional studio so they can really feel like they're learning their craft, what would you say you're looking for in the engineers, and can they contact you? You're still looking for interns and people to come on board?
We're always looking for interns. We probably have about 20 on board at a time.
Okay.
We have 6 studios in the building, so, and like I said, they're often running 24/7, so there's always 2 or 3 shifts a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
I would
contact you directly?
can contact me
Just
directly.
call Tree and
call
ask to
Tree,
speak with
ask
Paul.
for me, or send an email, paul@treesoundstudios.com, or info@treesoundstudios.com is another one that kids send resumes to. I would say the biggest thing for somebody who's trying to make it is to just start doing it.
Well, that's my next question. You just led right into the next question. You've got your record label, so you're doing independent record production.
Yeah.
For other artists out there who are recording an independent music project that aren't going to find their way to Matt Still or Paul, they're doing it on their own, what's the biggest piece of advice that you can give them in terms of increasing their chances to get their project out there? To make some noise.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is to just start recording.
Yeah.
Get a Pro Tools rig, get Logic, get some sort of a affordable digital recording device.
Yeah.
And just start recording stuff.
And if they've already gotten that far and they've got a record made now, and the question always becomes, now what?
Now what? Right.
What do we do with it?
Well,
you have any insights on that?
Yeah, I think social media is obviously a big one.
Okay.
Have it on iTunes. Have it get one of somebody like Orchard, who's an aggregator, who takes your digital song and puts it on iTunes and Spotify and just Rhapsody and sends it to all the.
Okay, now hold it right there, because Spotify now is the big controversy that's happening with the number of plays, Spotify versus the remuneration, and there's a big controversy about whether artists should even allow their material on Spotify. What do you think about that?
Publicity is publicity.
Okay.
Is kind of how I feel about it, and especially in the world that we're in now, people give away music so much,
right?
Because they have to get it out there. It has to be heard, otherwise it doesn't matter. And a very typical scenario is you're giving it away to any and everybody.
So don't look at the CD as so much of a profit center any longer, but as a calling card for the live performance and building your base.
And then the live performance is obviously a huge part of it, because you have to have a following.
Yeah.
You can be on YouTube, you can be on Facebook, but unless you're active in front of a group of humans performing, then not only you're not going to get better at performing, but you're not going to have a fan base that can relate to you that much easier.
Right.
It's in a lot of ways, it's still the same as it ever was.
Yeah.
You're opening for some band that's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
You're opening for an artist that's got a following, or you're pooling together a group of artists to try and get a bigger show.
It's amazing how it's almost gone back to old school, which is getting on the road and the emphasis on the live performance.
Right, and that's where the money is too for a lot of artists. A lot of these artists who are not making CD sales are selling tickets to shows.
Right. Ticket sales and merch are the two biggest revenue generators.
Exactly. T-shirts and tickets, right.
Yeah. Man, all great stuff. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate all your insights and continued success. If you want to reach Paul and talk to him about coming on board as an engineer or submitting your material, give the information one more time.
paul@treesoundstudios.com.
There you have it. Thanks.
All right, man.
Well, that's our show for today, guys. We'd like to thank you for joining us on Inside Music. We hope you'll join us again next time. We're going to explore the entire world of music publishing. A couple people to thank: SoundLab Music Studios, Octagon Studios of Atlanta for making this possible. We'll see you next time.